Hi, welcome back. All right, we're here for another inversion, and it's headstand. Now, please know that the alternative to headstand would be definitely forearm balance. So after watching this video, if you feel like, you know what, headstand's not for me, please know that you have another option, and that's forearm balance, for you to be able to benefit from those inversions and still be able to protect the neck and head safely. All right, so we're going to be working on two different headstand variations, 3-point and then forearm balance. But I want to show you a way to check to see if you're a good candidate for the forearm balance variation or if 3-point might have to be your way to go. So by bending your elbows and interlacing your fingers behind your head, see if your forearms measure off evenly with your head or slightly higher. If Lainey's forearms were lower than her head, this is not going to be a good variation for you. And the reason being is your head becomes the primary place of balance and you don't have those extra extremities for support, and that can often bring a lot of negative compression to the neck, especially if you're a newbie to something like a headstand. I want to make sure that you're feeling safe and it's the most effective variation for you. So sit tight, and I'll show you the 3-point variation in just a second if you find that this one is not right for you. Okay, so we're going to be using the wall again. Coming down towards the wall about, let's say, a hand's length away from the wall, Lainey's going to interlace her fingers and then place the hands back behind the head so the back of her head has these nice now like a little mini hat or a headband kind of glued to the back of her head. Elbows are at a shoulder's distance or fist wrist to opposite elbow. So we want to make sure that we have a nice 3-point of connection in order to supply our body with the right stability. So before Lainey pops up, we want to make sure that it's 30% of the weight is on the head and 70% of the weight is on the forearms and shoulders. It's almost as though you're trying to push down to lift your shoulder girdle up and almost lift your head slightly up off the floor so you don't have, again, that direct pressure only on the neck, head, and shoulders. All right, so from this place, when Lainey's ready, she's going to curl her toes under and lift her hips up off the floor. Perfect. Now, before she comes up, she could definitely stay here, really working to tuck the belly up and into her hips, lengthen up through the spine, and really lift the heart center to try to bring her body as vertical and upright as she can. Now, if she feels like she's ready to come up into headstand, I could use that assistant technique, lifting one leg up, and then having her press and lift the opposite to help her get up into a position like headstand, or she could do the springboard technique, or some people like to do the tuck and lift. So bringing their knees into their chest and then slowly bringing themselves up off the floor. Obviously, those things are going to be a work in progress, so take it slow. And again, using the support and security of the wall is definitely something I always encourage people to do, just in case you have that moment of, oh, and you're almost going to fall over, you have that support in order to safely bring yourself down. Now remember again, we're pushing into our forearms, lifting our shoulder girdle, strong core, that if she wanted to think about trying to freestyle it and balance, she could take one leg off the wall and then the opposite. What I want to encourage you to try not to do is the dance. 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot up off the wall. And really what that's just going to create is a lot of anxiety in the posture and frustration. So just take it nice and slow. And remember, your core is controlling what your legs do. So when you pull your leg off the wall, think about your core muscles pulling that leg off the wall to really enhance the overall stability of the pose. If you can get in 5 or 10 breaths in this pose, awesome. Do you have to do 5 or 10 minute headstand? Absolutely not. This is really about the safety and well-being of your body, and most definitely you want to be able to enjoy the posture. To come out, slowly bringing the legs down at your comfort level. You can either use the wall, you can tuck down or step down, and then resting your body back safely and comfortably. This is one, again, you're going to want to counter pose. So if you want to maybe pop into something like a bridge or a plow and then counter pose by opening the neck opposite way, rabbit would be another suggestion, or even just the seated neck stretches in order to help alleviate any of the pressure and tension that you may have brought to the neck itself. What are some things you want to caution yourself when practicing a pose like headstand? If you're dealing with any sort of vertigo, dizziness, lightheadedness, if you're feeling as though you have any sort of blood pressure irregularities that are not controlled, glaucoma, if you have a sinus headache, major chest congestion, these are going to be some of the obvious reasons why you maybe would want to refrain from practicing headstand or any inversion for that matter until those issues have been resolved. All right, so I want you to make sure you're always practicing safely and effectively, and whenever you can, try to use the wall in your inversions. Until next time, great job.